to Your Comments Matters. I'm your host, Carol Love, and just as we said, see you on this video, and here we are today. Hey, listen, we got another great video for you today talking about the healthcare system this week, and today's video is coming from KATU News, and the title is Oregon Faces 15 billion funding loss from Medicaid, SNAP, due to the Trump budget cuts. So let's get into the video and see, or do you live in Oregon, or you a viewer that's watching from Oregon? Let us know in our comments below. Are you being affected from the budget cuts, and how that affects you and your family? Okay, so we got some great commenters. You got to see their comments later on after the video. We got Hayden, Jet Ski, we got Lisa, and we got Captain Dad. We got some comments from them. So let's take a look at the video coming from KATU News, talking about Oregon facing $15 billion funding loss just from Medicaid. Y'all see how important this is. Medicaid is very, very important. And this funding comes from the federal government, and it comes down to the states because the states ain't got this money. So the federal government steps in to subsidize, so to speak, and help the states to cover for their residents. Let's take a look at the video.
Tonight, a new report from Governor Tina Kotek's office shows Oregon is going to lose $15 billion in federal funding due to budget cuts. The report says those cuts are going to impact SNAP and Medicaid in the state. K2's Tanvi Verma joins us from our live desk now. And Tanvi, how much exactly could Medicaid and SNAP be losing here?
So, Barry, the state's chief financial officer's analysis shows that SNAP could lose a little over $500 million, and Medicaid could lose almost $500 million as well.
It's the big, beautiful.
Some supporters of the federal cuts call it the big, beautiful bill. On the other side of
some
the
people call it the big, ugly bill.
The big, terrible bill. But
ugly,
what does
terrible,
actually mean for Oregonians when it comes to SNAP benefits? That's what we asked the SNAP policy analyst with the nonprofit Oregon Hunger.
It's very clear that this bill will be devastating for our state. Our state is one of the most reliant on SNAP in the nation when you actually look at the number of recipients as a proportion of our population. And we're talking about 90,000 people being at risk of losing their benefits, including veterans, homeless individuals, parents of teens, and adults 55 to 65.
When it comes to cuts to Medicaid, District 44 Rep Travis Nelson says everyone will be impacted.
We know that private health insurance companies are going to raise their rates on employers, which is going to make all of our health insurance more expensive, because when Medicaid goes away, we're going to see more people in ERs, and we're going to have hospitals and clinics demanding that private insurance pay more to fill that gap.
So we got on the phone with United States Congresswoman Andrea Salinas.
Basically, Oregonians are going to be made sicker and hungrier and poorer because of this bill.
And not just Oregon, California, New York,
to help protect people's SNAP
Arkansas, all 51 states.
Well, I mean, the only thing I feel like we can do from the federal level right now is to just let people know what is coming.
The White House putting out an article reading in part, the One Big Beautiful Bill is the most pro-family legislation ever crafted. It will deliver bigger paychecks, giving more than a $10,000 boost annually to everyday families. We're also expanding opportunity zones, expanding child care access, increasing the child tax credit, and creating newborn savings accounts. The White House also says in an article that there will be no cuts to Medicaid for those who rely on it. We've been reaching out to Republicans to get their take on this, and we did not hear back. At the live desk, Tanvi Verma, K2 News.
All right, Tanvi, thank you for that.
All right, everyone. Hey, you heard it right there. You saw what's going to be happening in Oregon. And so, Oregon, if you're watching this show, let us know. Have you had the effects of that yet? Have the cuts hit you yet? Wow, she said 90,000 people going to lose their benefits. Oh my goodness, 90,000. That's just Oregon. Can you imagine in all the other states? And all these people are, we're talking about millions of people going to be losing Medicaid, SNAP benefits, all these programs that help the poor to live a somewhat decent life, to have food on the table and be able to go to the doctor when they need to and take care of their children and family. So these cuts are catastrophic to many of these families. And we want to hear from you how it is affecting you. So let's go to the comments and let's see what our commenters have to say about this. Let's take a look at our first comment coming from Hayden. Hayden says, too many deadbeats leeching off the system as usual. Now, he has a point, because in any system, you're going to have some people taking advantage of it. And it's good that we get in there and we find the fraud, find the waste, and that money could be utilized to help those that really, really need it. But if you're on it and you slick and you think you know how to get through the system, you need to come off of it. You don't need it because you're abusing it, and we don't need you on the system. So great comment, Hayden. You got 14 likes on that. Let's see what Jet Ski Super 7 has to comment. Headline states 15 billion in cuts, but the story addresses 1 billion in cuts. Sloppy bias reporting. Ooh. Jet Ski caught that, didn't it? All right, so you can see the difference in numbers. That's a big difference from 15 billion to 1 billion. Yeah, that's a big stretch right there, isn't it? But that 15 billion, you added up with all the other states, you'll get 15 billion, I'm sure. But you got 2 likes on your comment, Jet Ski Super. All right, next comment is coming from Lisa Carden. Lisa says, insurance is a scam. Blue Cross pays some providers and facilities at over 300% while undercutting others. Also, their employees are now training their replacements in India. People who have been there over 30 years but are too young to retire are losing their jobs and half their retirement. BCBS is pure evil. I don't know what the BCBS is. It ain't the big, beautiful bill. I don't know what that stands for, honey. But she's saying it's evil, okay? I guess she's talking about Blue Cross, huh? I don't know. But anyway, insurance is a scam. And it's there, especially when you get these privatized companies, they just want to jack up the price every time. If you cough, if you go and get aspirin, they want to raise the price, okay? It's just ridiculous how the insurance is just making money from people, from the least ones that can afford to pay. As I said before, it seems to me that they want us elderly people to die. They don't want us to live. They want us to die. Real quickly, I saw an old TV show. Y'all remember the Twilight Zone? Remember on Bewitched, the first Darren? Well, he played on this Twilight Zone episode, right? And this Twilight episode, it was talking about how Darren, this I call him Darren, because that's how I know him by. But anyway, Darren was going around checking off all the old people, and he would go see the old people, and he would say, "Oh, you're so and so, and you're this age," and he knew who they were and how old they were, and he would set up a scheme, and he would have them killed. He would kill them. He would push them off into the water, push them downstairs, anyway and we would call it an accident. And that was their way of getting rid of the old people. Crazy, isn't it? I swear sometimes you better go back and look at this Twilight Zone stuff. It's happening today. Let's take a look at one more commenter. And this is coming from Captain Dad. Well, we do need to change. Oregon has been getting absolutely shafted, and don't blame Donald Trump, because this has been happening for over a decade. before he ever even took office. He got one like on that one. Okay. So he's saying, Oregon has been doing this, it's been going on for years. It's been happening all for a long, long time. And he's saying that they just getting shafted, and they do need to make some changes, don't they? But when you do make the changes, you don't make the changes where you come in with like Elon Musk did, with a chainsaw and just cut, cut, cut. You cutting the most vulnerable. You cutting the people that don't have nothing else left. Nothing. But you won't go after the rich folks. Okay, that's another series. All right then, everyone. Hey, listen, thank you for watching our show today. Again, where we talked about how Oregon faces 15 billion funding loss for Medicaid, and everything with that. And so you saw the story, you heard what the people had to say on that. This is a serious matter. So we hope you take it serious as well. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for us here today. As I always say, I'm going to see you on the next video. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to Your Comments Matters, because they do. Your comments matter on everything that we're going through in our lifetime. Take care. See you on the next video.